Hi there. I really want to discuss today the importance of your email marketing campaigns, your autoresponders, your email funnels, etc. Essentially, the way that I see it is that email is the ATM to your business. It is the thing that really automates everything from relationship building to getting responses, to doing surveys. There's so many different ways that you can use email and make use of your list that I see that there's basically not a business that I haven't looked at yet that is underutilizing this such valuable resource. And it is for that reason that I've asked my good friend here, Zach Grove, to come along and have a chat to you. The reason I've asked Zach to come along is because we've worked on projects together. He's helped us write some of our autoresponders, and he's worked on many other projects that I know about that will, just prove to you how important this is. And so he's going to share a few of those with you today, as well as show you exactly how you can achieve these kind of results within your own business. So with all of that said, welcome, Zach.
Leon, thanks for having me. I'm excited to dive into this content for your Sendfish and your Fusion HQ users.
Let's get started. Kick us off.
Yeah, so let's talk about what you guys are going to learn in this short masterclass here. We're going to talk about how one company missed out on $100,000 in revenue by ignoring these strategies. And actually, we might let the cat out of the bag right now. So we're going to be talking about Leon and his company. And Leon, we're going to be talking about how you lost some money by not doing this stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, confession time. Zach's put 100K on here. If it were only 100K, I would be I'd be doing all right. Actually, in my calculations, it's considerably more than that. And that obviously, the higher that number goes, the more painful it actually becomes. So I tried to cap it at 100 just to minimize the amount of pain that I feel when thinking about this.
Well, we'll get into that in just a minute and why you guys want to pay attention in your businesses and get this right from day one. We're also going to be talking about 4 email marketing hacks that will increase your conversions overnight, and I'll be showing you guys some screenshots of my clients and how they've used these really shortcuts and kind of 80-20 levers to get more revenue from their funnels. And we're also going to talk about a step-by-step action guide that makes it easy for you to create these automated funnels in your business and set these sequences up so you can just set them and forget them, and they will grow your business. So a little bit about me. I specialize in lead conversion, so I don't do a lot of traffic. I don't do a lot of back-end stuff. I'm really just focused on getting your email subscribers to turn into revenue. So I've helped 6- and 7-figure companies with that. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And I'm also a Sendfish and a Fusion HQ user. So we'll talk a little bit about how you can set these funnels up in the software and really get the most out of your subscription to grow your business. And so these strategies we're going to talk about, they will work for you in virtually any niche vertical or industry that you can think of. So here are some examples from my clients. So if you're say you're a coach or you're a consultant, maybe you sell services, or maybe you actually charge for your time to get on the phone and coach people in your expertise, this strategy will work for you. Another one of my clients you can see here, Dr. Alyssa Marshall. She sells an info product at International Dentist Central, really cool business, and you can see her testimonial there. So this is going to work really well for you if you sell ebooks or maybe you sell a premium video course. These email funnels are going to be very useful for you. And maybe you're even in e-commerce or in physical products and you're thinking, email is dead. I don't know if this sequence stuff can really work for me. But you're going to see in just a second how I helped my client Phil Bordeaux with his company Hammock Universe. And you can see on one Black Friday when we tweaked their emails, they were to make over $7,000 in revenue in that one day, all with these same strategies.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing to remember, guys, is that there is not a business that I can think of that does not benefit from these strategies. Now, you may not be able to use every single one of them, but you can certainly use a combination that would be most suited to you, that is going to guarantee that you're going to improve your conversions, that you'll increase your sales, etc., etc. I mean, this is the bottom line is that if you don't have a list, then that should be your first priority. Once you have a list, this should be your second priority. I mean, it's as simple as that, and it's a never-ending refinement process. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So whatever industry you're in, you really want to get this set up, and 80% is better than 0%. So let's dive right into the content and the toolkit that you guys can use to grow your businesses. And right before we get started, here's a little reason to stay till the end. If you stick around, then you'll find out how you can get your hands on this action guide that I wrote called Email Storytelling. It's got all sorts of email templates, worksheets that you can use to kind of diagram out the funnels that you want to use for your customers. And you'll also get a case study with some behind the scenes revenue figures and real copy from my clients. So you want to stick around to the end of this video to grab that. So let's talk about the opportunity of email, Leon, and you know about this very well because of your past experience with your company and missing out on that revenue. Let's talk a little bit about leverage. So sometimes if you're running a business, it can feel like you're pushing a rock up a hill. Maybe you're selling services and you're pitching people one by one and not getting a lot of traction. Or maybe you have a blog and you're writing blog posts every day and you're not getting a lot of email subscribers, or maybe you're getting email subscribers and you're not getting a lot of revenue. So what we're trying to do today with the autoresponders is to give you leverage. So Leon, maybe you can talk a little bit about having a lever with your autoresponders.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. As somebody who's built multiple different lists, I know the amount of effort that goes into list building. Some people find it easier than others, but no matter how you build your list, there is a lot of effort that goes into that. And basically, you can put all of the effort in the world and build the world's greatest list, but it's completely worthless if you don't find a way to monetize it, if you don't use it, if you don't leverage it. And so the autoresponder is perhaps the world's greatest gift to online business owners and to even offline business owners that choose to use them. Why? Because I can send an email broadcast out. Right? That's a one-time email, goes out. Think of it like a newsletter or a solo promotion, and that's great. And that's a great way to use your list, and you should do it. You should use those, but that requires effort from my time, and it's only good once. One time, it's like go out. It either works or it doesn't, and then it's gone. So now I've got to repeat that effort again and again and again. Whereas with an autoresponder, I'm writing that email, and now every single person that joins that list is now getting the benefit of that email. And if I write a sequence, now I'm getting, I'm basically connecting with my list again and again and again and again, automatically over a period of time. There is nothing that has a greater leverage in my mind.
Yeah, totally agreed. So let's talk about how you can get the most out of your Sendfish or your Fusion HQ software and actually reap those rewards for years once you set this stuff up. So we just talked about set it and forget it. You can see this diagram here. This is one of the funnels that we set up actually for Fusion HQ and Sendfish. And you can see how you can diagram these out really visually in either of those softwares. So once you set it up, that's it. You're going to write the emails so that they're evergreen. People can read them, get value from them. They'll be relevant literally for years. So you can set this up in a matter of weeks and really get the extra sales out of that for a long time. So let's talk about the first area that people are losing money with their emails, Leon. And I know you know a bit about writing casual copy. I've seen your emails. I've written some of your emails. And you have a really personal style. You look like you're writing one-to-one. But a lot of companies mess this up and they have these boring, corporate, kind of horrible newsletter style emails.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think that, there's a lot of people who talk about personal branding versus company branding. And their argument is always that people buy from people. And there's a certain degree in truth with that. But actually, people are happy to buy from companies too. The problem is that companies often feel cold and sterile and very corporate, and there's no reason for that to be the case. We can actually put a warm, fuzzy feeling, if you will, around a company brand or around a company image, and there's plenty of companies that have achieved this. And at the same time, you're building a company brand which is far more valuable now than a personal brand, or you're actually creating both simultaneously. And I find that really the tone of your voice within both your copy, within your promotional materials, and of course, especially within your autoresponder sequence, really sets the tone and the feel for your business.
Absolutely. So let's talk about how you guys can write more casual conversational copy and how that'll actually increase your conversions. So here you can see an example now. I've taken out the name. This is an email that I saw from an internet marketer, and I'm going to pick on them a little bit here because this is a good example of what not to do. So you can skim through this yourself. It says, hey traders, it's thank you time. Thanks for reading my feeble attempts at helpful emails this past week, and thanks to all who attend. So when I read this email, you're probably thinking the same. I want to go to sleep. This is not entertaining. It's not providing a lot of value. It's kind of self-deprecating. Thanks for reading my feeble attempts. I hope you feel it has been worth your time. So this is a good example of what not to do. You don't want to sound apologetic for emailing people. When they open up your email, the inbox is crowded, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But the way to stand out is not to apologize for taking up people's time. You want to get right to the content, right to the value, and explain to people why your emails are important. So a couple of notes on this. You want to write an email like a personal letter to a good friend, not a mass announcement. So in general, I don't try to say, hey, traders. You can use somebody's first name if you have that personalization tag in Sunfish or Fusion HQ, or you can just get right into it. But don't make it sound like a mass announcement, like you're standing on a soapbox.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is actually one of the good points here, but I know there's been a big shift for internet marketers moving towards taking email only for their opt-in forms. There is a place for it, but I think it's very overdone. The majority of the time you should be capturing the first name because the statistics on it are clear as anything. You can use the first name inside the subject line and increase open rates. You can use the first name inside of email and increase click-through rates. You can then carry that first name through to a sales page and increase conversion rates on the sales page. But you can only do that if you have the first name. So if while you may get a small increase in opt-ins by not requesting the first name, I think at the end of the day, the statistical increase in conversion, open rates, click-through rates, and conversion rates throughout the rest of your process more than offsets any of the initial loss on the front end.
Yeah, so maybe a quick wake-up call for you if you're watching. Do your emails look like this? And if so, do you need to change them to write more personally? And also, do you need to add another form field on Sunfish or your Fusion HQ landing pages? Maybe it is a good idea for you to actually collect that first name and maybe sacrifice a couple percentages in opt-ins, but then increase the number of people who actually want to open your emails. And so again, just cut the fluff from all of your emails. Don't say it's been a pleasure and a privilege to welcome so many of you. Just get into why you want to welcome people in your emails, and more people will open them and actually click on them to buy your stuff. Okay, so there's an example of what not to do. Let's talk about a really interesting and compelling example that went viral. So how do you like to write an email to your list and have them actually share it on their Facebook accounts and forward it to their friends because it was so good and in order to get to more visibility for your company? This is Derek Sivers, and this is a guy you've actually had a conversation with. How do you know Derek, and what does he do?
Well, we got introduced. I mean, he's most famous for being the founder of CD Baby, which sold for a fair few million, and
I think like 22 million. Yeah, he did all right.
He did okay. He's actually living down in New Zealand, and we're planning to catch up when I go back down there next time.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a very unique style. I don't know what else you can say about it. It's very, very different, and again, this is what I go when goes back to what I was talking about earlier, where CD Baby is obviously a corporate brand. It wasn't his name. It wasn't about him. It really had nothing to do with him. You could have used any name inside of the email. It really didn't matter. What mattered was the fact that it was CD Baby, and it was the tone and the voice of CD Baby that came through his emails.
Yeah, so let's check out this email that went viral from the CEO of a company sold for $22 million. This was the email that went viral. He wrote about it later in a post on Business Insider called The Most Successful Email I Ever Wrote. And you can just take a quick second to scan this. This is the email that they sent out as a shipping confirmation. So say you ordered a CD from your favorite artist on cdbaby.com. When it shipped, they would then send you this automatic email.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you're scanning through that enough now to kind of get a general feel for it. I mean, obviously, it's complete fiction. I mean, this is the point, right? Is that nobody actually believes what he's writing here. And that's why it makes it so controversial and so different, because, of course, most people are so meticulous about everything having to be 100% accurate or anything, but he blows it out of the water. He makes, but he's really emphasizing a point here that we care about you, even though it may be done in an extremely kind of exaggerated way, an extremely fictitious story. The point is that you understand that he's doing it in a way that that acknowledges that it's done in fun, that it's playful. Yet at the same time, you're still left with this feeling that they actually do care, that they really care about their product, they really care about you as a customer, and they really care about getting you your product in the best possible way.
Yeah, so the key takeaway here is you want to personalize your emails. Obviously, this is an extreme example, but it got results. It got shared on Business Insider. It got, I think, 20,000 backlinks or something crazy like that. People are sharing it on their Facebook. So you want to delight people in their inbox. And when you write in a boring corporate style, that doesn't get the job done. And so here you can see that one goofy email created thousands of new customers in the piece that Derek Sivers wrote. So this is just to illustrate the point one more time and drive it home. This is an email that one of my clients got from a similarly kind of personal, casual email at Hammock Universe. And my client was a little bit hesitant about actually putting this into a sequence, but you can see people respond to it because it really stands out. I have to say this is absolutely the best reply. I'll be definitely coming back and purchasing items down the road. So you want to make an impact on people there. So let's talk about a quick email marketing hack. This is a tactic that I use in every sequence. You can take this away right now. It'll take you 30 seconds to get more results from your autoresponder. And that's to ask a question in email number 1. So here's a quick example now that you can just copy and paste. In your PS, after you welcome people when they sign up for email updates, just say, hey, thanks for joining the newsletter. I really appreciate it. Here's the ebook or whatever you're giving away. And then PS, please hit reply and tell me what's your number one challenge right now. I'm sure you've seen this before whenever you've signed up for an email list, but what you might not know is the reason that it works so well. That's because email servers like Gmail and other webmail clients like Yahoo Mail, when they see that people actually respond to your emails, then what that does is it jets your email past the promotions tab and it keeps you out of the spam box. Because think about it, you reply to emails that you get from your mom or from your coworkers, so then Gmail sees that and says, oh, this email must be important. So that gives you a better sender reputation. And this is something that, frankly, not a lot of people know about, but it's really easy, and you'll also get really good marketing feedback. So have you ever gotten any interesting replies, Leon?
Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the things that you taught us that I was blown away by, in terms of, it opens up a dialogue. And I think that's probably almost equally important. Obviously, getting in the inbox is the first biggest challenge of any internet marketer or any email marketer. But the second is to open up a dialogue and to start a conversation with your prospects or with your customers that develops into a long-term relationship. And I think this has been the most powerful. People sort of saying, I didn't realize you cared. Oh, it's really nice to see somebody who takes a different approach. Oh, by the way, and they give you insights that you may not have otherwise had. They give you opportunities to clarify problems that somebody may be having that's blocking them from becoming a customer. They may give you insights into where you might start trying to angle your promotions, because people are using your product in a way that you hadn't even anticipated. And these are the kind of insights that we're getting from this simple question.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll give you another secret right now. Whenever people reply to this email and say, oh, I'm really struggling with this, those are exact words and phrases that you can use in your copy. Those can become the headlines. So just as an example, maybe you're a health coach and somebody replies to this email and they say, oh, I've been able to get my diet under control, but I'm really not seeing results, and I'm just discouraged because I'm not able to lose the weight, even though I feel like I'm eating really well. And so that's a phrase that you could put exactly in one of your emails, and that can help you fill out the sequence, because that's what people are actually struggling with.
Yeah, or even on a sales page. I mean, you can actually take that out exactly as you said it pretty much and rephrase it to be a headline and a subhead for a diet page. I mean, because you're literally listening and using the voice of the customer, which is, as any good copywriter knows, the most powerful method of connecting.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, go add this to your email autoresponder. If you don't have a welcome email, make it really simple. Add this question. And so just to illustrate, you can see how competitive the inbox. So this is what you're up against. If you're in the promotions tab, then you're going to get buried. People don't even look at this stuff if they're signed up to a few email newsletters. But if you can skip over to that primary tab by asking the question, by getting that first reply, you significantly increase your chances to connect and ultimately to convert and get those sales. All right, area number 2 that people leave money on the table: lead nurturing funnel. So you don't want to just send a welcome email and then become a ghost. You want to continue to follow up with people, and you can automate that in the software. So let's talk about how. Client I talked about previously, hammockuniverse.com, they do about $500,000 a year in hammock sales. Small business, and they were doing not that much email marketing when they brought me on. I want to talk about kind of the strategy that we set up for them and what you can do also to grow your business if you're not doing a lot of these autoresponders. So let's talk about the customer journey. With any autoresponder, you want to think about where do you want to lead them. When somebody signs up and gives you their email and your email list is growing, where do you ultimately want to take them? Because growing your email list can become a vanity metric if you never email people. Ultimately, you want them to buy your products and services, and you want them to tell other people about that and become repeat customers. So let's talk about how we were able to do that for Hammock Universe and what you can learn from that. So here's an example of a customer avatar for Phil. This is his hammock company kind of ideal customer. Somebody who likes to go camping a lot. They're outdoorsy. So this is the strategy you want to think about with your email list. Who are you actually writing to, and how do you bring them to the end result on their customer journey of buying your products and services? So with Phil in this example, in this case study, they type in how to hang a hammock. So he's got really good SEO traffic. Maybe you're different. Maybe you're using Facebook or AdWords. But then somebody hits your website. And so if they're interested enough, then they're going to sign up actually with their email address. So maybe somebody looks at your products, your ebooks, or whatever you're selling, and they're not ready, but they're interested. Then they can sign up for your email bait. Now, I want to impress upon you that this is the worst time to collect their email address and then never talk to them again. And so, Leon, maybe you can talk a little bit about why that is. If somebody comes to your site, they're interested, they actually give you their email address, and then you never email them, why is that a bad idea?
Well, I mean, apart from the fact you now wasted a valuable resource, I mean, for me, one of the biggest benefits of having an email address is the ability to develop a relationship. So even if they don't go out and buy, right? If they've expressed an interest, I know that they're now interested in my niche. I know that they're, in this situation, for example, that they're interested in hammocks. They've got to be interested in hammocks or they would never have given the email in the first place. So if they come to my site and they enter an email address, they're basically inviting me to have a conversation with them. They're inviting some form of communication. Otherwise, they wouldn't have be given me that email address. So if I now go and ignore them, it's like a bit like, a friend says, well, let's go out for a coffee. And then you go, okay. And then you don't talk to them.
Yeah.
There's no relationship being built. And then they forget about you. They leave, they go off, they visit others, they go and visit other websites. And there's no memory of who you were because you didn't go back to them. And your website or your name, your product just becomes a distant memory very quickly. Whereas if you contact them immediately and then you follow up with them regularly, you now build a lot more memorability, you build a stronger relationship, and you invite the opportunity to then do business with them in the future.
Yeah, it's really important to stay in touch. I think this is really a psychological problem. People are afraid to email their list. Maybe they don't know what to write, or they feel like they're annoying people, or they don't want to be salesy. But it's important to remember that everybody who's on your email list has already gotten this far in the customer journey. So just remind yourself of that. And people can always unsubscribe with one click.
And that's the point there. I think a lot of people I meet, myself included for a very long time, was afraid of people unsubscribing. They were afraid that, if I sent out an email, then people wouldn't like it, they would be offended, or they'd be annoyed and they would unsubscribe. Well, guess what? If you don't send out an email, there's no point in having it. They may as well be unsubscribed. In essence, you've basically unsubscribed everybody from your list. Because by not mailing them, there is no point in having the list in the first place. By allowing people to unsubscribe and opt out, it means that you now have a more focused and a more concentrated list. It means you have a more concentrated relationship with those that do want to do business with you or do want a relationship with you over a longer period of time. So don't be afraid of letting people unsubscribe. Don't be afraid of, like anything, you're not going to get 100% of the people like you. That's not the objective. The objective is to build a relationship with those people who do like you, do want to do business with you, do appreciate your product or service.
Yeah, so if you're watching this presentation right now, let's assume that you have a list of people. You have these concentrated leads who've qualified themselves. They're interested in your products and services. You had them on your email list. They clicked the annoying confirm your email button, and so they're warm. So this is the customer avatar for Phil. With your customers, I really just want to impress upon you, you want to follow up with these people and stay in touch. And so if they hear crickets, then they're not going to buy from you. It's silly to expect somebody to enter their email address and then remember the name of your site if they've never seen it before, type it back in their URL, and then click buy when they've never heard from you. It just doesn't work like that. You do want to build the relationship. And so if you take this approach and right now you're not emailing people, I think you get the point. Then you're just leaving money on the table. You're spending money on traffic. Maybe you're spending a lot of time on SEO to get these people, and then you're stopping right before you actually get the sale.
Do you know, I just read a statistic the other day. I don't know how accurate it is, but it's from some American marketing association. It's not the AMA, but one of those guys. And basically they stated that only about 2% of people buy from the first email. About 3% of people buy from the second email. And it kept going on, and essentially 80% of people buy between the 5th or 6th email and the 12th email. So basically, if you're not sending out at least 12 emails, you've lost up to, if you don't have at least email number 5 to email number 12, you're losing potentially 80% of all the sales you could be making. I mean, just feel the pain for a moment.
Actually, it'd be great if you could include maybe a link or a screenshot or something, because that statistic sounds very interesting. Actually, I've seen a similar piece of data from the company Yesware, which is email analytics, and they also say that you need to follow up with people, I think 6 or 7 times in order to get them to even look at your offer seriously and feel like they trust you.
I mean, look, even think about it in offline sales. Almost any of you who've studied any form of offline sales will know that there's a sort of a rule of thumb that it's the 5th or the 6th sale, the 5th or the 6th contact or follow-up that makes the sale. And really an autoresponder is nothing more than that same relationship building where the salesperson will go out, they'll visit the business owner, they'll buy them a coffee, or they'll sit down and give them a presentation. They don't expect to make the sale on the first time. Not the good guys. The amateurs, yes. But the real successful salespeople, they know that the first contact is the first contact. The second contact is still warming them up. The third contact is still warming them up. And they don't really, if they make a sale before the 4th or the 5th visit, then they consider themselves lucky, right? They will take that low-hanging fruit and they will be happy for it. But they're not expecting it. They're expecting it to take 5, 6, 7, or 8 visits before they finally make that sale. So if you consider it's even easier to make a sale in person than it would be through an email, then realize the importance of the follow-up through the email.
Yeah, follow-up is critical. So that's what we're talking about here. And so here's kind of a visual of the funnel that you can see. So with Phil, he was getting traffic from Facebook ads, a lot of SEO. He had some affiliates, blog content, and that all went into the funnel of his website. And then he got warm leads via email. And so what we were able to do is create these automated follow-ups. That's what we're talking about with the autoresponder, where we're sending content, FAQs about how to buy a hammock. We sent a buying guide, a story, kind of answered some of their questions, more content. So we're not hitting them over the head with buy, buy, buy. We're adding value, we're building a relationship. And along these lines, people are going to warm up. They're going to realize that they want a hammock. That's why they visited and opted in the first place, and they're going to buy. So this is going to increase your sales. And there's some really kind of behavioral, advanced tactics that we can get into, but you don't need to get that advanced right in the beginning. Just line up. You can see here an email every 3 days for 30 days. Just write 10 emails, load them up in SendFish or Fusion HQ. You don't need to get too fancy with it.
I mean, at the end of the day, a relatively bad email is going to outperform no email. So you've really got nothing to lose, right? If you haven't got an email going out, the chances are that person won't be coming back to your site. The probability is they will never buy from you. So even an email written badly is likely to do more good than harm. Now, obviously, you can do harm as well in terms of your reputation, etc. But I'm trusting that you guys are intelligent enough to be able to figure that out, and at least just write bad copy at the worst possible, in the worst possible situation, and that bad copy is still going to outperform no copy.
Absolutely. So line these emails up and get it 80% done. And so this is the net effect of when you follow up with people. So you can think about your customer avatar. once they hear from you a lot, they're going to want to give you their money. So I want to just interject here with a book recommendation. Leon, I know this book was similarly impactful for you.
Yep.
80/20 Sales and Marketing by Perry Marshall. If you've never heard of it, if you haven't gotten it yet, just buy it. Follow-up is an 80/20 lever in your business.
Yeah, it's in my recommended resources in my new book, and I've given a shout out. Like, there's a whole chapter devoted basically to the content in this book. It's that powerful. I mean, this is really how to focus and how to find real leverage in your business. And of course, the 80/20 rule, once you apply it to an autoresponder, I mean, the autoresponder is already an 80/20 principle within a business. And then you learn the 80/20 tactics that Zach's trying to teach you here, and you apply it to your autoresponder, and now you're leaps and, you're leaping into the future.
Absolutely. So you guys apply this stuff and get these emails. It can, like I said, just be 10 emails, be 5 emails if you're just getting started, and you will gain an edge on your competitors in your market. All right, final area that I see a lot of people leave money on the table, and it continues to boggle my mind, is when people get the sale. So we're going even further down in the funnel. Say somebody buys a hammock, or they buy your coaching or ebook or course, and then you never email them again. It's like you just ping them until you get their money, and then they stop hearing from you. So that's not a good experience for somebody, especially if they're a student of yours or a customer. So let's talk about how you can upsell them and cross-sell them to increase the amount of revenue that each customer is actually giving you, and to ethically sell them and help them out with your products and services. All right, so I want to talk quickly about a really fascinating piece I saw on LinkedIn. This is called 15 Statistics That Should Change the Business World But Haven't. And here are a couple stats that shot out to me. The chance of selling to a new prospect is 5 to 20%, but the chance of selling to an existing customer is 60 to 70%, and yet nobody does this. It just blows my mind. So, question for you guys, can you put together a list of your past customers or maybe their clients, and what could you offer them today? Put them together in an email list, upload them into Sunfish or Fusion HQ, and what can you offer them? And I'll give you a couple ideas of that in just a second. And so, Leon, maybe you could just touch briefly on how you can automate your upsells and cross-sells. So again, you guys are not doing this manually.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have it inside of the sales funnel, as you can see here on the screen at the moment, which is great for automating the sales process at the initial point of contact, or if they buy a product and then you want to upsell them or you want to downsell them after they've already committed to an initial purchase. And that's great, and I think it's really important to do, and it's one of the most powerful techniques used in internet marketing. I think what you're talking about here, though, is going beyond that. And if you imagine the same sequence now, the same kind of upsell process, downsell process, but spread out through email, not just through sales pages, and spread out over time, it enables you to reach more people over a longer period of time. It enables you to take advantage of sales techniques such as chunking. And this is a really, really cool idea, and it's been proven very, very effective within, like, for example, the hotel and the airline industries, where like they will sell you a high ticket item, let's say, or not even that high, but even a mid-level ticket item. Let's say they sell you a hotel room for $100. Well, if they wait 1 to 2 weeks and then they go and sell you an upgrade before you arrive to check in, they then sell you an upgrade for $40. Well, a lot of people will take that upgrade if they give a special, a bit of a discount to encourage you to take that upgrade. But they now, because you've already paid the 100. Even if they'd have offered you the suite, for example, for 140 from day one, you probably wouldn't have taken it. But because you've already spent the 100, you're now, it's only $40 to upgrade. You're only looking at the $40 price tag. So this is a really, really cool way of being able to upgrade people or to add on additional products later on, once the initial pain of the first purchase has passed. And that's where this using email to create this upsell, downsell process on autopilot is so powerful.
For sure. You want to automate this so that you can continue to follow up with people. And if they buy something, I think it's just ethical to follow up and say, hey, how did that work out for you? And then you can continue to tell them about your other products and services. So let's talk one more time to this guy, Leon J., Mr. Internet Marketing Magazine.
What's that doing in there?
September 2012.
Is that long?
You've come so far. All right, so just an example for you, Leon. I mean, you have a suite of products, and I know from working inside your marketing that people who sign up for one product, they're going to hear about the others because it all serves that same market that you serve.
Correct. I mean, we make sure that everything overlaps, and obviously we've got missing from here is also Copy Sniper and a couple of other products. Yeah. So the point is that we try to focus on things that within the same market to make sure that we can leverage the existing databases. Otherwise, we have to create a whole brand new database to try and market new products, and that's just not effective. That's not leverageable. So what we're always trying to do is to make sure that new products match existing markets, existing lists, and that way we can then integrate those offers with inside of those funnels so that we can make sure that we can automatically sell new products within existing databases.
Yeah, and if you don't know what people want, just ask them. Create a survey, really easy.
Exactly.
Say what else you're struggling with. Okay, so this is not just for internet marketing. You can see that even the biggest companies in the world, Apple, iPhone customers become iPad customers, become MacBook Air customers. You want to do this as well. That's how Apple gets a lot of revenue from each of their customers. Premium price offers really quickly. Some of you might know Brian Harris. He runs a site called videofruit.com. Highly recommended. He does something really intelligent. He has kind of these low ticket offers. He has like a course that's $1,000, but then people who are really serious, he has a $3,000 mentor program. So you can pay $500 a month for him to actually mentor you. So if you're a coach or you sell any kind of info product, ebook courses, you can implement this. There's no excuse. You can just hit pause on this video, copy down, here are your deliverables. Really easy. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys for watching this training. Let us know if you have any other questions, and watch your inbox, because you're going to hear pretty soon about how you can get your hands on this guide that I wrote to help you actually turn your email opt-ins into revenue. I have some email templates in there, and we're also going to be creating some video training shortly for setting up these funnels in the book in Sendfish effortlessly to kind of remove that tech headache and give you what you ultimately want, which is the end result of this automated marketing system that grows your business. You can set it and forget it. You can go work on other stuff. You can do what you like to do and have fun when you're not working, but your business is still working for you. And so that's the leverage that we talked about at the top. That's what we want to give you guys. That's why Leon has spent all these years creating this awesome software so that you can actually write these emails and automate them. And so that you can actually spend time with the people that you want. That's why we all get into this game, so that you can be out to dinner with your family or your best friends and be breaking bread and then come home and see the payment notifications. That's what this machine is all about, so that you can automate your business and work on it and not inside it.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's what we're all in it for at the end of the day is, we want to try and create more free time, and there is no better way of doing it than automation. And the most powerful form of automation in my mind is the autoresponder.
Absolutely. So we want to hear from you as always. Let us know what your number one challenge is with autoresponders. Do you not know what to write? Do you still have questions? We're happy to answer those. And if you're interested in getting a custom automated sales funnel and having me do all of this for you, like I've done for my clients, these are some of the deliverables. And I'm not going to talk too much about that, but you can just get in touch if that sounds interesting. Just go to preeminentcopy.com/sendfish, and I've also got some other templates and PDFs that you guys can take a look at to make this easier for you. Thanks a lot for having me on, Leon.
Yeah, pleasure. Go there now. Go to preeminentcopy.com/sendfish and have a look at what Zach's got going on. I mean, at the end of the day, whether you do this, this is the bottom line, right? You need to make a decision. And this is a decision I had to make myself. Was I could make excuses forever why I hadn't done it, but it wasn't bringing in me any money. So I realized that I even needed to get off my backside and go and do it, or I needed to find somebody else who would. So you need to make that call. You need to sit down and decide for yourself, will you do it? And if not, go find somebody else who will. And if you want Zach to work with you on your copy, then I highly recommend him. Otherwise, he's not going to be offended if you don't work with him, but he will be offended if you don't go out and put this information into practice, because ultimately that's really, there's no point in us being here if you guys aren't going to go out and actually do something with the information. So go do something. Either go write yourself an autoresponder now, or decide that you're not going to write an autoresponder now and contact Zach to try and get him to do it for you. So I hope that's clear enough. Good luck with it, and we'll be in contact soon with some more information to make your business a killer success.
Thanks for having me on, Leon.
Thank you.
not a minute to spare here. I'll let you go.